Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into Sunday Live. I'm your host today, Mike the Fantasy Hitman Wright from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Got my good friend Brooks on the switches and the dials.
Oh, yeah.
It's time, everybody. It's time to start making that playoff push. The wins and the losses at this point, they're starting to ramp up in intensity and importance. So hopefully I can help you steer your ship, help you make the best decision for your team. The rankings are up. TheFantasyFootballers.com. Always being worked on. We have quite the game going on now over in Germany. So keep me up to date, Brooks, if anything has happened. The last thing I saw was the Raheem Mostert rushing touchdown after Patrick Mahomes had a sack fumble. So is it still 21-14, Brooks?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, turning it around. I think it was 21-0, and the Dolphins are mounting a comeback. That's fun. It's good for everyone for fantasy football. If you've never joined us on Sunday Live before, a special welcome to you. Here's how this goes. We break down the big news that's going on around the league. Then we take a look at the most trending, like the hottest start-sit questions, because the rankings on the fantasyfootballers.com. We also have a start-sit tool, player X versus player Y. Give you a bunch of the variables where we would lean with it. Again, trying to help you make the best decision that you can make for your roster. But every single week there are players who trend. They are hotter start-sit questions than others. Then I'll jump into questions from the people here as they're flying in from all the different sources where this is streaming. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing, so I'm grateful that you're here with me right now. Brooks, do you have an important matchup going on today?
I'm against Al Borland in Dynasty.
So you get a free win today.
That's what I hear, but I'm on a streak.
That's what you – Brooks, look at his roster. It's terrible. Let's get into the news.
The big picture.
All right, at the quarterback position, a lot of moving pieces, as we know, but here's what we can feel confident in. Kyler Murray was not activated. It had to be yesterday by the 4 p.m. deadline or so. Clayton Tune will be getting the start against the Cleveland Browns, but Kyler Murray will be back next week against the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go. If you're in on that, just reminder, if you believe in Kyler Murray, right now might be the time go get Michael Wilson off the waiver wire. Maybe get Hollywood Brown for cheap. Who knows? Who knows? Just you got to pay attention to these because these are shifting tides for the Arizona Cardinals offense. Justin Fields remains out. Matthew Stafford was ruled out. We're going to get the Rippin' experience. How does that work out for Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua? That remains to be seen. On the Cleveland Browns front, Deshaun Watson must have gotten a new mattress, got that 8 hours of sleep that he needed. He's rested up. He's going to play. He also probably realized that the Arizona Cardinals were the matchup of the week, so he's going to jump in and play. Is Watson starting next week? I don't know. How tired is he? We won't know. But this week, he's in. And from the practice videos, at least that I got to see through the week, he did have more velocity on his passes, which he was completely lacking the first time that he tried to make his comeback. But he will be playing. At the running back position, Dameon Pierce will be out for the Houston Texans. Devin Singletary becomes a very strong volume play. How will he fare against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rush defense? Probably not great, but should be plenty of opportunities. And if we can get that target share north of 10%, I think he'll be happy with a fill-in of Devin Singletary. Amari DeMarcado of the Arizona Cardinals, he is going to be out. The run, what a wild run it was for DeMarcado. You wasted all your fab, got to see him get some more snaps. Then all of a sudden he's the dude. He's the workhorse running back, either back on your waivers or on your bench. You're excited. I got some volume. I can play him against the Cleveland Browns. Terrible matchup, but volume is there. And now he's hurt. And then James Conner will probably be back next week. So congratulations. If you're with me, we lit our fab on fire in unity. But he will not be playing. At the wide receiver position, Puka Nacua will be in. He was a little bit banged up throughout the week. Josh Downs is expected to play for the Colts. DJ Chark expected to play for the Panthers. Those are afternoon games. These are expected to play. So that means that something wacky could happen between now and then. So do not just set and forget with those players. Well, probably not. You're probably not playing DJ Chark. But if you're like, man, I'm going in on Mingo because DJ Chark might miss, pay attention to that. And Josh Downs has been a weekly player. Players who are out, though, Michael Wilson of the Cardinals. Again, I still think he is a fun stash to have. Drake London, the groin injury is going to hold him out of the game. Arthur Smith continues his tour of unlikability, going after my dude, Kurt Warner. Arthur, we will not stand for this. Curtis Samuel will be out for the Washington Manders. Jahan Dotson, anybody? Or if Andy were here, he'd say Jamison Crowder? I don't know. Robert Woods will be out for the Texans. Parker is out. Devontae Parker will be out for the New England Patriots. It's Pop Douglas time. I mean, it's his time because he's kind of the last man standing with Kendrick Bourne out for the season and Devontae Parker out here and Juju Smith-Schuster continuing to just fade into just the nether realm. Joshua Palmer will be out for the Chargers. Huge opportunities abound. Alan Lazard is questionable. I like that Alan Lazard made our list. Hey, we got to be thorough. But Alan Lazard, he's questionable, and he's a questionable play each and every week for your fantasy lineup. And then the Walrus. Darren Waller has been placed onto the IR. Super crappy. Things were turning around for Darren Waller and hopefully for the Giants offense with the return of Daniel Jones. But that hamstring that has been a problem now for quite some time for Darren Waller it will sit him down for at least 4 games. Unfortunate, but we move on. Nevertheless, look, if the injuries happen in fantasy football all the time, and we got to keep moving. Before we get into the who is hot right now, Brooks, do we have a score update? We still at 21-14?
Oh, 1 sec. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So no scoring plays have happened at least. All right. TheFantasyFootballers.com. That's where the rankings are. The start sit tool. Brooks, is the computer locked and loaded? Thank you.
He's so hot right now.
And a quick mention, if you want to use that start sit tool, which is completely free on thefantasyfootballers.com, but if you are a fine, beautiful supporter of this show, you support us at jointhefoot.com, along with a bonus episode, access to our premium tools, which this is what we really use to dig in and look at how we're looking at matchups and how players are going. The start sit tool becomes a 4-player start sit tool. So, get to balance a little more. You just get a little bit more. But again, if you want to do that, that's at jointhefoot.com. Brooks, who's hot right now?
Mike, there's a running back and wide receiver on the same team that are dominating the searches.
I can't wait.
Any guesses there?
They're on the same team?
Yep. Running back, wide receiver.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. So hit me.
All right. And it's one of the most popular searches, those two players against each other as well. So it's Puka or Darrell Henderson. Yes, sir.
Wait. We're going right to a flex question?
Yeah, we're starting with that. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Against the Green Bay Packers. Let me see if I can find that line real quick. So the Rams are 4-point dogs. Their implied total is 17 points. Look, I think it is real and it is very fair to have massive concerns for Puka. And same thing, we have a mirror situation going on with Minnesota where it's going to be Jaron Hall starting this week. Probably Josh Dobbs moving forward, probably. But this week it'll be Jaron Hall, and we have Addison. And Hawkinson's fine, but Jordan Addison is can I start him? But going back to Puka versus Henderson, it's a timeshare with Henderson and Royce Freeman. Maybe if they are trailing, they're 4-point dogs, like I said. If they have to pass the ball, that will be Darrell Henderson's work. I'm screwing up his name because it's freaking Darnell Anderson and Jason. Darrell Henderson. I don't love it. I don't love the play of Henderson. Me, especially if I'm talking versus Puka. I think Puka is not a product of just Matthew Stafford. He is not just a product of the Rams system. Like, if anybody could do it, anybody would have been doing it. Like Van Jefferson. He's like, he was 2 catches a week at the most. And he's now traded away. You know, they've tried to get other pieces in here, and it just hasn't worked. But Puka has worked from day one because he is just good. His skill set, the offensive philosophy, and the quarterback, it all aligned, and he's great. So I'm going to buy into the talent. We still have 2 of the 3 pieces, right? Like, when you have a 3-leg stool, even if one of the legs is shorter, that stool is still sturdy. When you go to a 4-leg and you have one short leg, it's wobbly. But 3, I think physics, just because of the physics, I don't know where I'm going here, Brooks, but it's still sturdy. So I'm going with Puka. That was a really long-winded answer, but I'm worried about Darrell Henderson. Running backs are it's atrocious right now, so I get if you have to play him. But if I get to pick, I'm going to put in the player who I think is very talented, and I'm going to go with Puka. Who's next?
And sticking with Puka and the one you mentioned, Addison or Puka, would you lean Puka?
I would. Let me just check something here. So the Vikings are on the road against Arthur Smith. Oh my goodness gracious! Are they going to steal a win? The Vikings are also 4-point dogs, and their implied team total is right. It's right around the Rams at about 16.8 as well. I would go, if I had to pick between the 2 of them, I would play Puka. Rippin, it has some experience, where Jaren Hall he's a 5th-round rookie. Now, the upside for Jaren Hall, for all the Vikings fans and the fantasy fans of the Vikings right now, Jaren Hall, I'm not familiar with his game. I'm sorry. 5th-round pick. I did not grind the tape on Jaren Hall. But you can box score hunt, and he's a mobile quarterback. This guy can move around. He's got a decent rushing total throughout his starts at BYU. I think that's where he went. Yeah, Brigham Young. So I think there's possibilities that even the deficiencies of him as a passer, you get like the Justin Fields effect of he can move around in the pocket, he can get outside, and buy time for a really talented player like Jordan Addison to get out there. But if I had to pick between the 2, this week I'm going to go with Puka.
One more Puka. You going him or Hot Lockett at the Ravens?
Okay, so the matchup stinks for the Seahawks. They're really confusing right now because of what is going on with the injuries. You had DK Metcalf missing most of practice. Tyler Lockett just keeps popping in and out of the injury report, seems like. And Lockett finally had himself a game. Is DK Metcalf really good to go? He's going to play, but we've seen Tyler Lockett missing a whole bunch of practice and then still playing but being very ineffective. So I would go – man, I think I'd go with Lockett on that one. At least I have my quarterback, and we are coming off of a good game for Tyler Lockett. It's the Seahawks are a mess right now. It is injury-wise of knowing there's fantasy points there for the Seahawks. They will be there, but who is it? Like with Kenneth Walker versus Zach Charbonnet the past week, with the way that the splits were divvied up in Charbonnet's favor, and despite Ken Walker having one of his patented big home run hits, it wasn't a touchdown, but it was a big run, but then it was all Charbonnet after that. So it's really, really tough to know what's going on with the Seattle Seahawks. But if that is my question, Lockett versus Puka, I'm gonna lean Lockett. Not by a ton, but I lean Lockett.
All right, my couple Henderson ones that will go to the people. Top one is Henderson is him or Devin Singletary versus the Buccaneers.
I would go Devin Singletary in that one. I think that this is a game that the Texans should be at least competitive, if not just win outright. And game script for Devin Singletary it's good either way. They're down, he's getting targets. They're up, he might be getting some goal line opportunities. So I'm going to go with Devin Singletary.
All right, and then how about the Browns guys in the mix? Jerome Ford
man.
and Kareem Hunt. That's
Right,
actually
right.
A popular one.
Versus Henderson?
Yeah, and then which one of those two would you play?
I would, if I had to pick just one of the guys from Cleveland, I think I would go Jerome Ford. Jason might go Kareem Hunt. I believe he was his start of the week. And me picking Ford's not saying Kareem Hunt is a bad play. He's very intriguing this week. The Arizona Cardinals are they're bad, man. I'm not speaking of fifth-round rookies. Clayton Tune will be getting his first ever start against that defense. It could go south real quick and just be a really run-heavy script. And then all of a sudden it turns into a Pierre Strong game because they just are like, we're going to rest our two main guys. But I lean Jerome Ford if I have to pick between the two of them, and I would play both of them over Darrell Henderson this particular week. We're good?
Cool. To the people.
Here we go.
Stardom, set 'em.
All right, I'm going to start with what I feel like is a layup. Slim X Nick wants to know Zach Moss or Darrell Henderson. Zach Moss, baby. What is going on with the Colts and their running back situation? I don't know. Jonathan Taylor says he was doing toe lifts or something, which, yeah. I mean, who doesn't take what looks like a bad shot to your leg, kind of get up slowly, and then just start doing some calf raises? I mean, we've all done that, right? I'm not hurt. You're hurt. But either way, they're still splitting this up, and Zach Moss is playing fantastic football, the best football of his career. I'm going to stay in the Flames with Zach Moss. Let's see. Cody says Puka or Flowers in a standard. Okay, a standard, that makes it much more difficult because in a half or full, that I'm just going to take Flowers. I'm going to take the receptions, but standard, who's more likely to score a touchdown? And to me, it's still Puka, even with Brett Rippon at the helm. So I think because it's standard and I'm searching for a touchdown, I'm gonna go with Puka. Next question: Nico Collins or Mike Evans? This is from Blaza Swamp. Wow, that's a very difficult question. I like Nico a lot this week, but I don't know how you sit Mike Evans down with the year that he's having, with the connection that him and Baker have found. It's not every single week, of course, but I'm going to go with Mike Evans on that one. Next question comes in from Dalton. Says, in a full PPR, Kareem Hunt or Devin Singletary? So, of course, looking at my rankings, they are one spot apart because that's how this happens. So we are absolutely splitting hairs. I have Kareem Hunt at RB 23 and Singletary at 24. So I mean, there's really not a ton of difference between the two. I'm gonna go Devin Singletary. I think your chance of getting 3+ receptions in this matchup is higher for Devin Singletary because the Browns should wipe the floor with the Arizona Cardinals this week. We say should because crazy stuff happens every single week in the NFL. This seems like one where it's not going to be crazy, though. It's not going to be crazy. Licker McGuire. All right, settle down. Do I bench Tony Pollard today with a whole bunch of question marks? I mean, no. I don't know who you would be benching them for. Like, the players I have ranked in front of Tony Pollard would be Barkley, Mostert, who's already that ship has sailed for you, Bijan, Brees, Taylor, Mixon. Like, if you have all of those guys, sure, you can bench Tony Pollard. But I think better days are coming for Tony Pollard, not in terms of an overwhelming amount of volume, but just that the Cowboys season has been so insane. It's been so, like, just not normal. We're not getting normal games at a regular clip from the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's balancing out now, and Dak is playing excellent football with him and CeeDee Lamb. And just because when the passing game is clicking, I mean, it's when one is great, it opens up the other. I'm far more of a offensive philosophy of I pass so I can run. You know, the old school of you run so you can pass. I think that's the old busted way. And so if they get the passing game going, you're going to get scoring opportunities for Tony Pollard, who has been very disappointing. I won't deny that. TF9 says Charbonnet or Roschon Johnson in a half-point PPR. I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet on that one. He might still be the leader of the running back room this week. We don't know. But what I feel like I have a good grasp on is the Bears are, number one, not good with Bilbo Bagent as the quarterback. I mean, speaking of crazy stuff, remember when Bagent won his first game? I think that's ridiculous stuff happens. But it's 3 players at the running back position for a bad offense. So there is a chance, because that was Roschon's first game back last week, that the snaps will just shoot up and he'll be a 55-60% player. But I'm going to go with Charbonnet, who is just the better talent, better offense, better opportunity. I mean, everything's there. When you have a stool – just kidding. Not going into it again. Let's see here. Next question. Oh, we're still okay on time. Matt says, who do I play from the Bears backfield? Dude, just do this move. This move. If I had to pick, I'd play Roschon Johnson. But thankfully, I do not have to pick. Next question. We got SG Slays says Royce Freeman or Brian Robinson. Oh, man. What a trick the Brian Robinson season has gotten us. Dominant at the beginning. So dominant that he is still, in fact, ranked very high in terms of what running back he is. I think he's still like a top 15 running back. It's insane. But playing him or Royce Freeman, I'm playing Robinson. I get it. It's been bad. He's playing the Patriots. I'm not going all the way down to Royce Freeman, though. I'm going to stick with Brian Robinson and hope we get some points there. Like, they're going to have to score. They're going to have to throw the ball a whole ton, so maybe we get a better offense, more scoring opportunities. Rich G wants to know Mummy Face Mike or Chipmunk Jason. Chipmunk Jason, due to the fact that no one was harmed in the recording of that punishment. Meanwhile, my face will never recover. Hold on. Next question. Going down to the bottom, we got CJ Alexander says Lockett or Babe. Gabe the Babe Davis. Both very hot or cold players so far this year. Gabe Davis off a ridiculous, 12 targets or whatever it was. I'm going to go with Gabe Davis. Both are hot and cold, but here's the deal. Cincinnati, Buffalo, it is the only 50-point over-under of the week. The Bengals are favored by 2.5, so both of these teams have an implied team total of 24 or more points. I want pieces of that. Maybe it works. Maybe it's all Stephon Diggs, but you got to at least take the chance, man. The game of probability with all that scoring says you go with it. I lost the question, but someone was asking about Keontae Ingram of the Arizona Cardinals, and my answer is no. 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 I don't care if he gets all the volume. No, I'm not going to do that. Time to eat? I don't know what's going on there. We got Mack or Stroud, which is I understand because I highlighted Mac Jones as a titanium underpants play of the week. When I said it, I said, hopefully you don't have to do that. And C.J. Stroud is someone who I would not go to Mac Jones. I would keep Stroud in there. Again, I like Nico this week, so I'm going to stick with Stroud. Hope we get red light, green light continues for Stroud because we are in a green light week. And, that's analytics. That's Troy Aikman level analytics right there. Cooper Kupp or T. Higgins. Oh, man. That feels bad. I'm going to stick with Cooper Kupp. Oh, man. Yeah. I would play Kupp, for all the reasons I listed for Gabe Davis, I totally understand going with T. Higgins, thinking that there'll be more volume there and just better quarterback play overall. So I totally get that. Running up against the clock, we got Ethan says Kincaid or Hawkinson. I'm going to stick with Hawkinson there, but that's a good problem to have moving forward should Hawkinson fail this week, having Kincaid as your parachute moving forward. Jeff says DJ Moore or Puka. Man, I would go – I have Puka a couple spots behind DJ Moore in my rankings, but I would go Puka. I don't want to Puka. I won't elaborate more, but I just DJ Moore against the Saints with Bilbo, that's going to be rough. Let's see. Kelsey is killing me, says Alan Day. Dak or Lamar for upside? You got to go Lamar Jackson then. The upside did not hit for Lamar. It hit for the Ravens last week, but the pendulum swung to 3 rushing touchdowns for the Gus Bus. That happens. Lamar has been very greedy for fantasy football previously to last week, so I'd stick with that. We got let's see. We got Akers or Foreman in a PPR. I'm going to go with Cam Akers on that one. And then last question, we'll get out of here on this one. Oh, I'm trying to find a good question. We got James Cook or Zach Moss in a half-point PPR flex. Oh, I'm gonna oh my gosh. I'm gonna stick with James Cook. Zach Moss is like, dude, it's so ridiculously impossible to make a start. He's a backup running back, and James Cook is a starter. But Zach Moss has been. I totally get the question there, but I'm gonna stick with James Cook in that matchup and hope that they lean on him. The dump truck he's backing up to the Buffalo Bills offense, but I think we'll need at least one more week of the dump truck acclimating before he comes in and steals more and more work from James Cook. And then quick one here from Abby: Trey McBride or Kyle Pitts, full PPR. I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts. Taylor Heineke, Drake London is out. Plus matchup at home. I'm gonna stick with Kyle Pitts and not have Clayton Tune throwing to Trey McBride against the Cleveland Browns. That's going to do it, everybody. A reminder, thefantasyfootballers.com. That's where the rankings are. You can go check them out. It's impossible for me to talk about every single player in this live stream here, but thank you so much for joining me. I wish your opponents nothing but the worst, and you nothing but the best. And remember to keep it beautiful. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah! Bye-bye. Bye-bye.